day.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. It is an honor and privilege to have you listen in. We've got a lineup for you today. Usually have 4 to 5 guests on every show, and they each have a different perspective about what we all have in common here, and that is we love to go fishing. So we're going to have some more of that in just a few minutes. First, let me take a moment to say thank you to Carolyn Stash. She has been so gracious with her time. She is co-hosting with me this morning. Good morning, Carolyn, and welcome.
Good morning, Riscala. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup going on today. 2 of my regulars, those of you who believe in prayer, are going to need some prayers. Well, actually, one of them's going to need some prayer. I don't know about the other one, but one of them's going to need some prayer, and that is Angelia. She caught the flu earlier last week and was fighting it and ended up finding herself in the hospital with pneumonia. So she could use some prayers to get well soon, and I don't think she'll make it today. I think she's still in the hospital. So anyway, that's one of them. The other one is Robert. Robert has something happening this morning. He's usually on at around a little after 8 o'clock, and he's kind of giving us the fishing report and some of the different tournaments that are going on out there. He's out doing something this morning. He won't be able to call in. But other than that, we've got a full house this morning. We're going to have quite a few different people from a whole bunch of different areas. And some of that, I have to say thank you to Carolyn. She was out there kind of rounding them up for me. A big thank you there.
Oh, absolutely. Most of these folks are, like involved in fishing in the local community, and they have some of side organizations they work with that are for youth and getting kids out there fishing, charitable organizations, and they're all really funny. So that's why I figured they'd great to come on and kind of share what they do in the local area.
I love these kind of stories because we need more and more of this. We hear so much of the negative stuff that we don't hear much about. About what's going on. All the good stuff that's going on is kind of buried under the carpet, per se. So I enjoy it. It really enlightens me. It gives me a sense of fulfillment that I did whatever microscopic part I did to help that and continue to bring that forward. So we have, let's see, I think Travis is involved with something like that. And then was it Trista you were telling me is involved in some kind of charity work as well?
Yeah, well, Travis, as you know, is the founder of Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis. And that's an event that's going to be going on in June. He's going to come on and tell us about that, how it's grown exponentially from 4 paddlers in 2013 to over 200 paddlers last year, as a matter of fact. And my team of girl breast cancer survivors and a couple sisters with cystic fibrosis are going to join them this year. So he'll tell all about that and all the training paddles and things. Also does a radio show, Epic Love Radio. And then we've got Trista. She's from Hooker Electric, and they do a lot of charity work with a lot of paralyzed children, things like that. So she'll share that with us as well.
Cool. Again, everybody wins when we're doing stuff like this, and this is another reason why I enjoy helping promote small businesses, because they're the ones who are really giving back. They're working with the community. They know the community is basically their family, and so they give back to the community. And when I hear about stories like this is really, really phenomenal. So good. I'm really excited about having to hear what the latest and greatest is. And this thing that Travis is doing, I saw the video. I put a video up on our Facebook page. Speaking of Facebook, if you haven't, please go by and visit our Facebook page. Give us a like. It makes us more relevant in the searches. But on the Facebook page, I put up a short video of what Carolyn has committed herself. She may commit herself to an insane asylum before it's all over. But what Carolyn has committed to, it's a very, very serious challenge. We're going to be paddleboarding from Bimini to basically to Palm Beach. An estimated how many hours, Carolyn?
Well, the competitive solo paddlers get in about probably 10 to 11, 12 hours, and we're doing a relay team, so it's estimated for us, I would imagine, about 14, 15 hours of continual paddling. The event starts at midnight in the dark, so that's a little bit of concern, and just aim toward the west and about probably 3 to 4 miles an hour and see what happens. But it's going to be an amazing team that we have. Just the videos that people can see on Facebook for crossing for cystic fibrosis, and the events that go on before the actual paddle, the camaraderie. There's about 400 people or more that end up in Bimini a couple days before that to transport the boards and everything. And it's a pretty amazing undertaking. And I've seen it from the beach side because I provide the GPS trackers from Atlas Trax so that each boat has a tracker. There's 80 boats. And the families can find the boat that their paddler or their family members are assigned to. So it's a great way that I've always just been the crossing guard, as Travis calls me, to get everybody over safely. I post every hour for them. I'm up in the middle of the night, the same as they are, but I'm just doing it here from an office in Florida. But this year I'm going to do it from the actual event after 3 years of donating my time.
Well, that is commendable. It is inspiring, and I don't know how do you follow that up? That is nice. So have you done any fishing this last week?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, I was invited out to go on Real Captivating, which is a 62 Viking today. They're fishing a Quest for the Crest, which is a really big sailfish tournament. And I was able to do the radio show on the boat, but the seas are real bad. They're 8 to 10. And I thought maybe that would be a little too difficult to be able to join you. So they're out there fishing. Next week I've got a tournament in Pompano Beach. It's a offshore angler Pompano Beach tournament and also a Southern Kingfish sanctioned event. So we're going to get out there and the girls are going to see if we can catch some kings. Great ladies prize, a beautiful fishing reel and a rod. So we're going to go after that.
Wow. Well, speaking of the seas, we have small craft advisories are in effect. Wow, they're looking at 7 to 9 feet in the seas, so it's not going to be a particularly nice day for a smaller craft. If you got one of those big ones, you might be able to fare it a little better, but not for the little guys. You got to stay away from out there. But there's a lot of other places you can fish. There's backwaters. There's a variety of intercoastals around here. And sometimes the intercoastals can really turn up some surprising results. I've had a friend of mine who was fishing in one of the intercoastals and came up with a really nice grouper. On intercoastal? I said, yes, we caught them in the intercoastal. I was surprised. I didn't think they'd turn up with something like that. It turned out to be about a 7.5 pound grouper. So it was a nice catch. Wow. You don't have to be submitted to the wind and all that when it's on a day like today. And it has been, now that I think about it, it's been really, really windy. You experiencing that as well? Not today, but up until today.
It seems like somebody knows, Mother Wind knows how to read the weather forecast because every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the winds kick up. One of our girls, she went out and she couldn't handle the wind, so she went out and fished a firefighter benefit bass tournament out of Holiday Park last week. And even with the wind, she said it was a little bumpy even in the backcountry in the Everglades.
Wow. Yeah, it was. I just thought about it. The last, 3 or 4 days have been, and I'm not close to the ocean with respect to some of the other people that are out there. Robert's really close to the ocean. Angelia, she's right on the ocean, but I'm probably 14, 15, maybe 16 miles away, and it was really blowing out here. So I could imagine how hard it was out there. Seemed to be coming out of the north. And we had a really nice cool day. I think that was a Friday, but the wind made it a little more difficult to, bearable. But the temperature was like, what did I hear? It was like 65, but with the wind chill it was like 30 something. That's how strong the wind was. Isn't that crazy? Here in Florida, it's like, my gosh. If we're talking about rain, that would be one thing, but during this time of the year to have that kind of wind, I don't know, it just seems unusual to me.
Well, a place where I always get the current conditions, I always go to one of the live cams, and it's HillsboroLighthouse.org, and I'm on there right now, and you can see the whitecaps coming along the beach. You can see them quite far out, and you can see in live view the boats going out, turning around, and coming right back in.
Wow.
That's always a fun place to go if you just want to get a quick weather check. And I'm close to the the beach. I'm looking out the window now, and some of those palm fronds look like they're almost gale winds here and there, gusting.
Wow.
But
So it is still blowing.
It's going to be a little floppy out there.
Well, every morning I have my ritual. I have to take my dog out for a walk. Sundays are the shortest of the walks, but typically him and I go out for a walk for at least an hour every morning. And this morning we did our thing, but it has to be a little shorter. But while I was out there, it was gorgeous. It was just absolutely clear skies. I didn't see a cloud anywhere. And at that time, it was relatively calm. As I'm looking up now into the Palm Beach County beach conditions, there is a high risk of rip currents. So please be aware, if you're going to go to the beach today, please be aware of the rip currents. And the easiest way to identify them is just watch the waves. And if you watch the water, it's got to go back out. It's coming in. It's got to go back out. And you don't want to be in the part that's going back out. So if you'll just watch closely, you'll see that the water comes in and it kind of goes off to an angle and goes back out again. Stay away from that area because it'll be very strong. And if I've been caught in a rip current, it is a scary thing. If you happen, God forbid, you happen to get caught up in it, just go with the flow and swim parallel to the shore and then come back in. But don't try to fight it because the strongest of swimmers can't fight it. It's very, very powerful part of the energy that comes in and out of the beaches. So just keep that in mind. Going to be a nice day to go out there and enjoy it. Just be safe. You can do the backwater thing if you want to go fishing. You can do the bridge thing. I have said many times my family used to go fishing all the time. Much of that time was either off of a bridge or a pier or from the shore. And we did fine. We had a great time. So it doesn't always have to be in a boat. It's a lot nicer. You get to go to a couple of different places that you can't do otherwise, but it doesn't always have to be a boat. So you didn't get to go on this fish. I think you did yourself a favor.
Well, I had the cars packed. The alarm was set for 5:00 in the morning, and when it went off, and I looked out the window, I thought to myself, and I looked at the sea conditions like I always have on my computer. I thought, it's probably not a good decision. And I didn't want to be out of cellular range, quite honestly, if they go a little bit too far north and not be able to call in and hang out with our guests. So yeah. I wanted to make sure I was available.
Well, thank you.
To you as always.
Thank you. Another sacrifice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, you know what? For me to pass on fishing, Rescala, this is important. This is important to get the word out and share stories. And I know Travis is going to be on. It's really important for me to have him share a story. I'm inspired every time. And I have to tell you, I haven't, because of the cancer diagnosis, haven't worked out for a while. I went out and did my first walk run for 21 minutes yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't pass out. So going to get out there and really get clean, and I have a friend that's going to give me a paddleboard next week so I can actually get on a paddleboard for the first time. So I'm thrilled about the story, so I wouldn't miss Sunday with you anytime. Oh,
God bless you. I appreciate that. That truly means a lot to me. Thank you, Carolyn. And what we're talking about, to me is, I can't even find words to properly describe the feeling. I can't imagine getting on a paddleboard in the middle of the night. And all of this is a commitment for other people. This is nothing for yourself. This is the part that is inspiring about all of this. And how many people on paddleboards, Carolyn?
Well, last year they had 200, a combination of individual paddlers, relay paddlers. They had even some of those big dories that you see in lifeguard situations. Mm-hmm. They had a couple boats come over, typical Hawaiian-type boats that were I want to say catamaran or pontoons that you see in the surf in Hawaii. They had a couple teams like that. They even had a few of these pedal bicycles that were so fun to watch at the beach landing. I was there last year, and it's amazing when people get off these paddleboards and collapse and get carried up the beach, and the cheering. And it's Piper, Travis's daughter. She's there. She's participated all the time. Everyone knows her. She comes up and hugs everybody. It's an amazing. It's epic love, just like that radio show that he does that I told you about. It's an amazing what he's done to bring everybody together, people that have never paddleboarded like myself, older people, younger people, the cystic fibrosis community. It's just amazing. I can't wait for you to hear a story.
And it's to benefit other people. I mean, that's the part that really catches my heart. When we're working to help each other, that's the greatest gift that we can give to each other. When we're taking the time out of our lives I've said many times, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You can have all the money in the world. We never know how much time we got. So when we take time out of our lives and share it with somebody else, that's a priceless gift to me. And that's the kind of thing that I like to promote, because everybody wins. And that's what I see in this event.
Well, think about it, Riscala. You have to get those people to Bimini. So how do you get 200 paddlers, 200 paddle boards, support crew,
Yeah, daunting.
medics,
That's daunting.
80 boats. So what they all do, we leave on a Wednesday or Thursday out of Palm Beach, head over there. Again, I've never gone, so I'm excited this year. There's a lay day. They're doing yoga, having
Cool.
group parties. They're doing some pretty amazing events. A paddle out event that goes out where everyone circles on the paddle boards and throws flowers into a beautiful circle to memorize people that have either passed or fighting. It's pretty amazing. I can't wait to be there for that. And then now you have to bring this huge group of people back over, and people are volunteers, people that donate their boats. They're missing work, they're leaving, they're committing to this 4 or 5 day journey, and it's amazing. And I think about it, or I watch the videos, or I go to the beach, and it just keeps you teary-eyed because it's so exciting and so happy and so love-filled. It's unlike anything that I've ever been through, and I just want more people to be able to go to the beach landing this year and see what it's about.
It is a sight to see. I mean, the short video that I put up, you can see the emotion. You can see the emotion in these people's faces, and the feeling of fulfillment and success and victory. My gosh, it is. It's truly an emotional thing to see. So if you can help in any way, if you want to get involved, if people want to get involved with this while I'm thinking about it, how can they do that?
Well, Travis can tell us a lot of ways to get involved, but the main website is Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis, and they're very quick at answering back questions. So we're looking for more boats, we're looking for captains, support staff on the beach. But the biggest feat is getting that many people over to the Bahamas. And I know Travis and the team is constantly looking for a donation boat, usually 30 feet. That way we can carry paddle boards and water. Remember, we're transporting everything over. I remember seeing a video maybe 2 years ago where they were actually making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on surfboards in Bimini for the way back. And do you know how many peanut butter and sandwiches you need for that many people?
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
It was an assembly line a video, and I'll look for some of the older videos, and because they're amazing. And this thing has grown from four people in 2013 to, I think it was then 11 boats, then 26 boats, and 80 boats. And again, I provide the GPS tracking on the vessels, so I'm programming trackers, getting them all Ziploc bagged, assigning them to boat names, because I'll put the boat name and exactly the paddlers. So on our maps, which we do for the theft and for safety, it'll say the particular boat name and then the 4 people that are the paddlers. And that way all the family can find them. They can log on anytime in that 16 hours and find out, is it time to go to the beach? How many miles are they offshore? How many miles an hour are they going? All the details that we use for the theft and the tracking,
I think it's just amazing.
People at 4 miles an hour across the ocean.
It's just amazing how much information can be gathered from one of these little devices that is about the size of a credit card. It's not as thin as one, but it's about the overall size of a credit card. And you can get so much data from one of these portable devices that you can slip it into your pocket. And it's waterproof, right? It's not water.
Yes.
It's not water resistant. It's waterproof, correct?
It is waterproof, and we use them in very cold environments and very hot environments. So for construction equipment, obviously boats, we're in the boating industry. As you know, we track icebergs, so we've got a lot of them up in the very harsh environments. Snow groomers outside during blizzard conditions, that fit in my pocket. I take one with me all the time. If I'm in Costa Rica, or if I would have gone today on Real Captivating, I would have brought a tracker with me just because it's fun to see the maps and where you go. And
It's
look
amazing.
back at it, but also for safety. Hey, this is where I am. This is my tracker. Mom, keep an eye on me.
Yep.
So it's very good for safety. And, even we've got backcountry fishing or people that go out ATV hog hunting, things like that. You're out of cellular range. You need something if someone worries about you to see what direction are you pointing. You coming back? Are you going out? Or you stopped? That's all people want to know.
Yeah. I wish I had something like that when I had my boat. My mom used to worry about me like crazy. I'd go out, and she knew I'd go. It didn't matter to me. I'd go out on a day like today if I was really wanting to go fishing. And not with small craft advisories, but pretty close to it. I would go, and other people would say, "Riscala, I don't think you should go today." Oh, heck yeah, we're going. By the time I'd get out there and fish and come back, I'd feel like somebody beat me up the next day. But I loved it, that was a thing that I loved the most. But my mom would really worry about me, like mothers. That's what mothers do. They worry about their kids. So if she would have been able to see where I was at, how fast I was going, how long I was out there, that would have made all the difference in the world. I think that would have taken the worry wart right off of her thumb. All right, we're up against a break. We're going to take a quick one, and then we'll be right back. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show this morning with Carolyn and Riscala. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Riscala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're listening to WCET FM, America's talk station.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise!
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
We are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. Good morning to you. If you're just joining us, we will have an archive up. Unfortunately, speaking of archives, in my infinite wisdom, I had a technical breakdown last week, so we didn't have an archive show. But I made absolutely sure that doesn't happen again. I've got 3 different programs monitoring so that we can have an archive set up. It's just one of those technicalities. All it takes is a little click of the mouse, and there you go. While I'm at it, I want to say a big thank you to WCET-FM 101.7 out of Columbia. Thank you. That is our home network. You can find us on www.wcetfm.com as well. High Point Radio, 1690 AM out of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Big thank you to High Point Radio. KYAH, 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. They will carry our show from time to time. And our newest affiliate, YachtRockMiami.com. If you want to hear some smooth music, and their go-to line is smooth grooves all day long, all night strong. And I've been there probably a handful of times now. Every time I go there, it's very smooth, very relaxing music. Very nice place to go. And by the way, Yacht Rock Miami is a tune-in station. So if you have the tune-in app, you can go to yachtrockmiami.com and you can find our show there. So there's different ways that you can listen to us. The easiest, if you're on Facebook, you just go to the Fishing in Florida show on Facebook, click on Contact Us, and you'll get right over to the live server. The next way you can do it is go to our home network, which is www.wcetfm.com, and we have a player there. We even have a line that you can call in on if you want to listen, for listening only, and that's 701-719-9704. So we try to make it as easy as we can for you. Somewhere down the line, I will have an app. Still working with the people on trying to finalize what we want to do with it. But we will have an app, a very simple app. You just download the app and you can listen to the show. It's not a whole lot of commercials on there. You're not going to get stuff being sent to you and things of that nature. It was just a pretty straightforward app. All right, here we go. Let me bring my co-host back on. Carolyn, good morning, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and welcome back.
Oh, absolutely, Rascala. I'm excited for our next guest.
Well, our next guest, I believe I have on the line, is Travis, but I see another line at, let me see who I have here, 9. I don't recognize, it's Sean Miller, it looks like. Sean, are you on the line with us as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sean, I have you on at you're welcome to hold on, but I have you on at 9:25.
I'll be listening in for you.
All right. All right, good deal. And Travis, I believe Travis is on. Welcome, Travis. Thank you for calling, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, my friend. And we've been talking about this event that you have put together and the inspiration that comes out of this. I was asking Carolyn if she knew what kind of inspired you to do this kind of thing.
That's a great question, and thank you both for the opportunity to be on the show. I've been listening in this morning. It's been a lot of fun. The inspiration really came out of my daughter Piper's diagnosis from cystic fibrosis. She was diagnosed at 4 years old, and you know, the best way I can describe going through that process, and you know, I know Carolyn recently went through her own diagnosis and adversity, and you know, anybody who's gone through that, and you know, we all face a crisis at some point in our life. That dark kind of shadow of uncertainty is cast over your life, and you don't know necessarily what the next steps are, what the outcome is going to be, but you have to really rally through it. And when Piper was diagnosed, it was really shocking to our family. And at her first cystic fibrosis clinic appointment, where we met with her team, you know, so she's, you know, you meet with the respiratory therapist, you meet with the pulmonologist, you meet with the physical therapist, you meet with about 8 or 9 different, you know, team players that are part of the CF clinic. And it was actually the respiratory therapist who came in the room, and she said, you know, have you ever heard of, you know, the saltwater benefits for people with cystic fibrosis? And, you know, we didn't. Piper had only been diagnosed like 2 weeks earlier. So it was all very new and fresh to us. And she told us this story about how cystic fibrosis surfers in Australia were going to their doctor and reporting back with really incredible results comparatively to the other patients going to that clinic. And after a few years of research and millions of dollars invested into the research, they determined that sodium chloride, you know, the table salt that's on your dinner table, is actually really beneficial for helping to provide airway clearance. When you breathe that air and salt air in, it hydrates the liner of the lungs and allows for people with cystic fibrosis to have better, healthier lungs. And so learning that, it was quite a gift at that time, because, kind of this enlightening moment where, we felt like, her life and our ability as parents to take care of her was kind of ripped out of our hands, and we were, thrusted into this clinical setting. There was this natural therapeutic way to take her out into a positive environment and for her to benefit, whether it's fishing on a boat or paddling. Just being out there near or around the ocean was good for her.
And if you would take a second, what is, obviously something to do with breathing, what is cystic fibrosis?
Cystic fibrosis is a progressive terminal disease. It's a genetic disease. So both parents have to be a carrier of a cystic fibrosis gene. There's over 2,000 different variations of the cystic fibrosis gene. And if you both are a carrier, the child has a 1 in 4 chance, a 25% chance of having both genes and having cystic fibrosis. It primarily affects the respiratory, the lungs, and the digestive system. And basically, like mechanically, the way I describe it is, if you think about oil in a car, that's the way mucus operates in the body, right? The viscosity of mucus helps to lubricate your organs and provide functioning, just like oil in a car. But if you have too much oil in the system, it can really complicate things. And that's the way their bodies are. Because of a protein that's defective at a cellular level, the inflow and outflow of sodium chloride within the cells is improperly functioning, and it causes an overproduction of mucus in the body. And in an open airway system like the lungs, when you breathe a bad bug in, for a healthy person, it's not that big of a deal. They might get a cold and kind of kick it in a few days. But for somebody with cystic fibrosis, that bacteria or that virus, if it goes in and gets caught in that really wet, sticky, moist environment, it can, the bacteria can colonize. And ultimately, that's what deteriorates their lung function, is this extreme and acute inflammation from lung infections progressively over their lifetime. And eventually that's what leads to lung transplant or death.
Wow. That's a lot to take in, my friend. That is a lot to take in. God bless you. We'll make sure that we get prayers up for her as well. I'm a firm believer in prayer, and I've had people pray for me in a difficult time, and it made the difference. So we'll make sure we get prayers up for her. And so there's other people who are. How is there an idea with regard to how long people, the duration, the lifespan of something like this?
That's another great question. So that's a big part of why we exist as an organization today, as Piper's Angels Foundation, is because in the 70s, to give you perspective, kids were dying at 5 years old. They were dying. They never lived past 10 years old prior to the 70s. In the 80s, they discovered the cystic fibrosis gene. During that time, they started developing pharmaceutical drugs to help address and provide better therapies for people with CF. So what's happened is, over the last 60 years, all of the fundraising has gone into drug research, which has helped extend their lives from 5 years old to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30 and even beyond. Here's the thing. When you have 2,000 genetic variations of the disease, some people have very extreme, severe versions, which is like, Piper has the most common, but one of the more aggressive genetic variations. And then you have some that are kind of middle of the road, and then some that are really light. Well, in that time frame, the life expectancy has, extended quite a bit. The challenge is you're still living life with a progressive terminal disease that still has these compounded effects of, now you're taking antibiotics and steroids your whole life. The children are growing into young adulthood. They're wanting to go to college, but they can't necessarily work. and hold down a full-time job. They're going through lung transplant, at 20, 25, 30. There's a whole host of complications that arise for not only the patient, but also for the caregivers, the families. And that's what, really drove us and drove me to want to pursue not just doing this crossing once, which was, to raise money for research for a cure. In the beginning, it was just a big idea I had that I said, okay, what could I do if I got hit by lightning next year, and I was gone off this planet? What could I do to give Piper, a really good example of how you can really own this and you can put it out there in a big way, and you can be proud of your life with it. You don't have to let this disease define your life. You can define your life with this disease. And that's what the original crossing was. It was like, what's a big idea that we could do that would raise funds, raise awareness, but really be an example for her, to carry forward. And that's kind of where the birth of the combination of the ocean and the saltwater benefits and this idea of the crossing came together and merged. And I know I kind of diverted back to the event there, but that's really, that was the basis. Because they're living longer, we really wanted to focus on ways that we could help these families day in and day out.
Wow. You pointed out something that it's really not on the surface. It's not obvious to some people, and that is the caregivers. The caregivers are almost a part of this, suffering from this disease almost as much as the person. When we're talking about a young individual like this, and then you have a mom and dad who are challenged with something far beyond the norm of raising a child, and then reaching out and helping others. That's really is inspirational. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Ruscala, I would love Travis to tell us what he needs. What does the Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis? What kind of help? Who can help? That's all really important since this event is so epic and right around the corner, Travis.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Carolyn. I just wanted to ask you real quick, how much time do we have? Because, I can talk for hours about this, so I want to respect your time for the show.
Well, I appreciate that. We've got about another 3-4 minutes still.
Okay. So, people can go to crossingforcysticfibrosis.com. We're looking for experienced boaters and captains, and I always like to, the topic of this show is fishing. People who come to the Bahamas for the crossing, there's an opportunity to fish. We've got 2 or 3 days before we leave to cross back. And believe it or not, fishing is allowed during the event. If you got paddlers in the water, it doesn't mean you can't drop a line back and troll. So that opportunity does exist. And I've seen a few big fish caught during the crossing because the fish like the mahi, they'll come up to the boat because they're idling, they're going slow, and you have paddlers in the water. And it's actually one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life is a school of mahi come up under a group of paddle boards because they're not afraid of them, and you can see them up close in the color, and they're really brilliant. But
I never heard that before. Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, we've seen a lot out there. We've seen everything from submarines to sunfish up on the surface sunning, pilot whales, dolphin. I mean, everything you could imagine. It's like a desert out there at times, especially when you're paddling slowly. But when you do see something, it's pretty spectacular. But we need volunteers. The support, and let's say for Carolyn's team, really one of the biggest things people can do is support somebody in the event, because they're the ones who are committed to training, committed to fundraising, and getting behind them, sharing their posts, following their story, following Carolyn's team, which is probably one of the most inspirational teams we've ever had in the event, with this combination of cancer survivors and cystic fibrosis warriors. And this is something I learned recently, Carolyn. I wanted to share it with you. We have a team in Jupiter who's paddling, the Lighthouse Ladies Dragon Boat team, all cancer survivors. And they do dragon boat paddling because apparently paddling is really good for restoring the upper body strength and the muscle tissue after going through, breast cancer surgery. So I found that really interesting that was a part of their mission and their own physical health in redeveloping those muscles to strengthen their upper body.
Wow.
And I appreciate that. I would love to reach out to those ladies as well, because that's where I'm weak. So that's awesome. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just can't say enough about Carolyn and her support over the years with Atlas Trax USA. I mean, we talk about her being the crossing guard. People, obviously safety is our biggest concern with this event. We want to make sure that even though paddling is inherently slow and safe, being out there in the dark, in those shipping lanes, with freighters, being out there just with the wildlife in those exposed conditions, obviously presents challenges. And so we want to make sure everybody's safe. And, the best way to do that is to make sure we know where everybody's at. And so having those trackers on the boat and following everybody's journey is incredibly important. And we'll be posting live updates, like Carolyn said, where they can track the boats in the event. They can really follow along and get to experience the journey with us.
If people want to get more information before we take off here, how do people get more information, Travis?
They go to the Facebook page, Crossing for CF, or crossingforcysticfibrosis.com, and there's plenty of information up there. There's a contact us button, volunteer, or they could register as a boat captain. We work 24/7 on this, 365, and we just really appreciate all the support and the support from the show in this mission.
And I appreciate people like you, my friend, because when everybody benefits, that means I'm part of everybody. So it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of selfish, if you will. But I love promoting small businesses because our country was built on the backs of small businesses. I love promoting them for many reasons, but that's one of them. The other one is they give back. These are the people that give back to the community that has given to them because they understand how the importance of the relationship between their business and the people that they serve. And so they give back to them far greater than the big guys. The big guys are concerned primarily with one big thing, and that's profit. And so it's a completely different thing when we're dealing with small businesses. It's a completely different thing because they understand the importance of giving back. And this is part of that. This is what we're talking about this morning, giving back. Having been affected by something, but not allowing yourself to be a victim and drawn down into it, rather be a victor and bring other people up with you. That's amazing. That's truly inspiring. All right, we're up against a break. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you. Again, Travis, my deepest respect for you. Thank you for what you do, my friend. God bless you. And I'll let Carolyn say goodbye, and we'll catch you back on. We'll have an update.
Hey, Travis.
Thank you so much.
Happy Sunday, and as soon as I get a paddleboard in hand, I'll come up and do some training paddles with you guys.
Okay, sounds great. Looking forward to it.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Fish Florida. Fishing Florida.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper, 'cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. Good morning, good morning. If you're just joining us, welcome. And thank you. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to share with us this morning and allowing us to share with you. Quite a few different things that we've spoken about this morning. Anything that you've missed, we will have an archive. I missed out last week. First time in, oh my gosh, years that has ever happened. So not going to happen again. I've got 3 different checks in place so to make sure that we have the shows recorded. This morning I have Carolyn Stash with me. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. My go-to line for Carolyn is if you want to protect what you love to the max, you've got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back, Carolyn.
Absolutely, Riscala. If you don't watch, I'm going to have to steal that line.
You're welcome to it, my dear. I'm going to let you introduce our next guest, since you were the one who helped me get them, and so I'll let you take it from there. Go ahead and introduce our next guest.
Absolutely. So we have on the line Trey West, who is the owner of Big Dog Tackle in Pompano Beach. Both he and Nicole run a beautiful tackle shop. They help with a lot of tournaments local in the area. They use their parking lot for a lot of the captain's parties. Trey, I just wanted to say hi and thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I really commend both of you for spreading awareness in the community, especially Carolyn and your fishing team. You guys are such strong warriors. And I don't know if you know this, but you're a huge inspiration to so many people, and you're our hero. So thank you for having me.
Oh,
wow, leaves me speechless, Trey. Thank you so much. I didn't know people really thought that, and I love what we do out there, getting out there and spreading awareness, and with the ladies and men, that everyone can get out and fish. So thank you so much. That was a nice compliment.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if you're familiar with Zach Yarborough, but he actually is going through some breast cancer issues, and he's a man. So I mean, a lot of people don't realize that
it's been happening.
Both
yeah,
men and women.
Yeah, it's been happening to the males more and more here. There's many reasons, I believe, but yes, it's been happening to males as well. So tell me a little bit about what you do, Trey.
All right. Well, so both Nicole and myself, we're owners of Big Dog Tackle. Nicole is also an amazing, strong woman, and she runs Big Dog Tackle. And I'm her personal assistant, so she does a fantastic job. And she has a lot of experience in running retail operations and businesses. And we had this idea a couple of years ago, actually about 3 years ago. We didn't implement it until about 18, 19 months ago. And she was working for a big corporate retailer, and you get capped out at certain levels. So we thought, well, why don't we do something on our own? And a tackle store was the answer.
Hot dog.
So that's kind of where we're at. We're coming up on 2 years here. Wow.
Well, I hope it's going to be 20 times that. I'm always supportive of small locally owned family businesses. I tell you, this is, the way our country was built was on the backs of these businesses. We're the guys who give back to the communities. We're the guys that we don't have millions of dollars to pay the lawyers to figure out the loopholes so that we don't pay the taxes. We just pay them and move on. So I will always, and any opportunity I get, promote a small locally owned family business, because that's really the heart of America. To me, that's what America's about. Growing up, I grew up in Coral Gables, a small city inside of Miami. And my dad owned a small, what you would think would be like kind of like a 7-Eleven today, but it was more than that. It had its own little deli and all that. But it wasn't as big as these large stores that you see today. And the one thing that I saw him do was build relationships with his customers. They were almost like an extended part of his family. And that meant a lot to him. And I see how now that I am a small business owner, I have that experience, and I see how important that is. To build that relationship, because there's so much out there that we fight against. And when you have a relationship with somebody, it's a lot easier to carry on, especially when everybody benefits. That's the thing that I love. When we're talking about things like this, everybody benefits. When people buy from you, you benefit, they benefit, and then you guys give back to the community. I've always said it's over 60 cents. I think it's as much as 63 cents. Of every dollar, the data that they have derived, they found that about 63 cents, or somewhere in that neighborhood, of every dollar that is spent at a locally family-owned business goes back into the community in some way, shape, or form. Versus buying from a very, very large company, only about 40 or so cents goes back. So everybody wins when we're dealing with companies like Big Dog Tackle, small family-owned.
And you know what's amazing, Riscala? Big Dog Tackle, Trey, and Sean Miller, who has been on and will be on later, work very closely with the community. So, for example, we went to an offshore angler Pompano Beach meeting last week, and there's raffles, and Trey and Nicole and Big Dog Tackle donated product to be raffled off. Mm-hmm. So that raises money and awareness. So it's a real tight
it's a giving
circle.
back.
You might become a customer, but then you're friends.
It's a giving back, and this is a testimonial. Why, if you have an option to buy something from a large corporation, or you buy something from a smaller family-owned corporation, you may pay a nickel more, 10 cents more, but that is an investment in your community versus the other. So again, for me, it's pretty straightforward. I always will support that.
It's interesting you mentioned businesses going back. Well, I'm from a long line of small business owners, and my grandfather actually owned, I don't know if you remember this, but a Phillips 66 gas
Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I remember that. Yes, I'm revealing my age, but yes, they were quite popular. Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. And then my dad owned a construction business, and then I worked in corporate America for about 10 years, and I just had to move on and do my own thing. So I've had other businesses for a little while.
And you know, Riscala, Trey is putting together a few tournaments, local tournaments himself, and I know there's a big one coming up. It's a first annual. Can you tell us about that one, Trey, that's coming up?
Yeah. It's so for being in business for about 13 years, I've always wanted to give back to the community in some way, but sometimes as an individual, you find it difficult to do it because you don't know where to start. So through the fishing store, I've found that doing fishing tournaments entices people to participate, but also at the same time, we can give the proceeds to charities. And it just so happens that I've been working with the SKA, the Southern Kingfish Association, and I've been talking to them for about a year, trying to get them to sanction this tournament, and they finally did. So this year,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So we're hanging out with names like Jamie Bunn and Jimmy Wicked, who are well-known tournament. Actually, Jamie Bunn is out there right now with a sailfish tournament. But these guys are well-known in the community, so I feel very honored to be in that category. So our first annual Kingfish Battle tournament is coming up in November. So it's a little ways off, but it gives us a lot of time to raise some donations and give back to our charity of choice, which is Freedom Fighter Outdoors. So both my grandfathers were in the Air Force, stationed in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My grandmother was in the Air Force, one of the first women in the Air Force.
Wow.
Yeah, and my uncle was also in the Air Force, so it's close to my heart. And when I said that, it's difficult to figure out how to give back. Well, I came across this couple by the name of Vinny and Sarah LaSorsa, who run Freedom Fighter Outdoors out of Lighthouse Point. And over the last few years, we've done little things here and there, whether it's a fish dip competition to raise money or whether it's a GoFundMe or different events that we've done. And now finally we have this big tournament that could turn out to be a huge donation vehicle for them. And just to give you a little information on where the money goes. So they run an organization that actually takes injured veterans fishing and hunting and different events.
Hot dog.
So that they can become more social, also get involved with other injured veterans that are maybe going through similar circumstances that they are. And I think it's a great event. And when you get them out there on the water, it's just a great time.
Cool. Well, I spent some time in the Air Force as well. I did a tour 3 years and 8 months during the Vietnam War. And the Air Force was really what kind of turned me around, because prior to that, I don't think I was going down a very good road. I was one of those rejects, if you will, of society. I didn't want to have anything to do with people, generally speaking. I didn't want the responsibility. I was 16, 17 years old. I was going to be drafted. I couldn't see myself holding a gun and shooting at somebody, so I figured I would join the benign of military branches, and I joined the Air Force. Well, it may have been benign for me, but it wasn't benign for the enemy. We really hit them up hard. So I spent some time in the Air Force as well. My last duty station was Panama City, Florida, Tyndall Air Base. At that time was Air Defense Command. I don't know what it is now. But that was a great experience for me. So I'm right there with you, my friend, with all your family and the Air Force thing. Great experience. I would highly advise anybody, if you don't know what you're going to do with your life, you join something like the Air Force, and they'll set you straight. It won't take long. They'll set you straight pretty quick. You'll learn what a real job is. Oh my goodness, that brings back some memories. My gosh, I wasn't prepared for that. Well, thank you, Trey. I appreciate
this organization. They also, where you're trying to find your way as a young man. Once you're out of the military, I think this program is very important, so that we don't forget our veterans that sacrifice for us. And I think it's very important not to forget them when they come back.
I totally agree with you. I think that too many of them are forgotten when they come back in one way or another, because one of the things that disturbs me is how many of our brothers that are out there that are suffering in some way, and they end up taking their life, and it's about 22 a day. That's how sad the statistic is. It's about 22 veterans a day decide that they no longer want to do what they're doing and feel that there's no other way out for them than to end their lives. So anything that we can do to help them, to bring that awareness, anything that we can do to let them know that there's people here who care about them, and there are other options. There's plenty of other ways to deal with it. Just have to look and not give up hope. And when I hear about things like what the Freedom Fighter Outdoors, that's hope, that's inspiration for these guys, because they do feel like, a lot of them do feel like it's the end of the rope. I have nothing else to do. There's no way out for me. And that's a sad place to be in life, especially when we have so much beauty around us and beautiful people. We're talking about Carolyn, we're talking about Trey, who was it that Travis with the crossing for the cystic fibrosis thing. We have a lot of beautiful people. You just have to, that's what I was saying before. It's not exposed like the bad stuff is exposed. All the bad stuff seems to be priority in exposure, and all the good stuff seems to be very low priority or no exposure at all. And so Just got to look. And if you look, you'll find. And you'll find people like Trey, who works with Freedom Fighters Outdoors. You'll find people like Travis, who works with people for Crossing for the Cure. You'll find people like Carolyn, who's a victor. I don't think of us as survivors. I've had cancer twice. I think of myself as a victor. I've become victorious over this thing. And in my inner mind, I tell myself, cancer fears me. I'm not ever worried about having cancer again. Cancer fears me. That's just a way to cure yourself with this horrible disease. So there's people out there who could be a victim, but they're not. They're victors, and in doing that, they reach out to others, and everybody benefits. This is really enlightening this morning. Thank you, guys. Thank you for inviting him on, Carolyn.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to tell you, I am a Big Dog customer, and I go in there and I do feel like family. And what's great about the store is it's open till 8 o'clock at night. I think it's open every single day. Trey,
wow.
You can, tell listeners how to find you, what's your website, Facebook, because, if you need a last minute something at 7:30 at night on a Friday night before you go in fishing, you can go to Big Dog and get it.
Cool.
Yeah, so we used to go out to dinner and, maybe go to a bar and have a drink every now and then, but those days are over. So we work at the store all the time. So we're open at 6 a.m. every day, 7 days a week. And we're right in Pompano Beach on US 1 and 14th Street Causeway, close to the boat ramp. And we just love having customers over here. And we have our website is bigdogtackle.com. And then also to find any of our events that are upcoming or even to volunteer or donate, we have all our events listed on our Big Dog Tackle Facebook page, and even call the store. Anybody that wants to volunteer, donate any way, whether it's a product or if it's money or if it's time, we can find a place for it because we can all help each other get to where
Amen.
we need to be.
That's what it's about for me, helping each other. I totally believe in that. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, Trey. Well, I'm looking forward to having you back on, getting an update sometime down the road here. I'm going to give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and then we're going to go to a break. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with Carolyn and Riscala. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hey, Trey. Look forward to seeing you soon. And I saw that Instagram video of you riding up behind Sean yesterday with your bass on. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, you always got to wave to your friends when we're on the streets, because we're always so busy.
Oh,
And Sean Miller, he's a great person, too, and he's doing a lot of good things for the community. And I look forward to listening to what he has to say in a little while.
Hot dog. Here we go.
Perfect. Happy Sunday.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Riscala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer, and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dark. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. I'm just having a heck of a time on that board this morning. It's not cooperating. All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. That was a nice little bump there in the road. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida Show with Riscala and Carolyn this morning. Good morning and welcome. Welcome back, Carolyn. I'm all flustered at this point with this board. It's just driving me crazy. Oh, let's see. And we're just hang on with me a second here. Here we go. All right, go ahead, Carolyn.
I was just saying, yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad I'm not the one in front of the equipment.
Oh my gosh, it's just it's one of those touch screens, and if you touch it in the wrong area, it just goes berserk. And that's what it did. It went berserk on me this morning. All right, let me get back on track here. I want to say a big thank you, WCET-FM 101.7 out of Columbia. Big thank you to you guys. That's our home network. You can find us on the internet at www.wcetfm.com. High Point Radio, 1690 AM out of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Thank you. Appreciate them. KYAH 540 out of Utah. Thank you. YachtRockMiami.com, our latest affiliate. A big thank you. Big welcome to the family, YachtRockMiami.com. Smooth grooves all day long, all night strong. I've listened to the station several times. Really, really nice. And let me get to my next guest, who's someone I haven't spoken with in quite some time, and missed dearly, Miss Wanda Stewart. Welcome, Miss Wanda.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my dear.
Hi, Wanda.
Good morning, Carolyn.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to, I'm glad we missed you last week. I know you were trying to get on the show. You got in a rainstorm and you were pulling your boat out of the water up in Louisiana. So I'm glad we had you on today.
What a picture that would have been.
We fished that weekend, and I couldn't get the call. I saw where it was trying to come through, but I was out on the water. It was raining. It wasn't very pleasant weather. So I'm sorry I missed last weekend.
Well, you make up for it today. Here we go. Well,
okay.
So Wanda's out of, I think you're in Louisiana, right? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I'm out of Louisiana. I'll give you a little rundown on what I do. My name is Wanda Stewart. I live in Louisiana, and I'm crazy about fishing. I also have 2 fishing websites, and I work with numerous organizations to get kids out to fish and to get ladies out to fish. So, and I also host events, I set up events, and I fish on boats with charter guides to promote their business, and also do fishing shows when I get a chance.
Wow. Is that all?
I stay pretty busy. And at this point,
oh my gosh.
I'm also building websites, fishing websites, and many websites for anyone in the fishing industry that wants to promote their business.
Wow. Well,
so what's really unique about Wanda is she really focuses a lot of her time on women and fishing, which is how Wanda and I originally had met. And, you know, how women don't have to be afraid to pick up a rod. It's like you say, Riscala, it doesn't matter if you're fishing off of a dock or off of a beach or backcountry or deep water. The women get out there, pick up a rod, go with somebody that can kind of coach and mentor you, and you don't have to spend a lot of money if you're fishing. So Wanda's out there. She often promotes me or shares my stories with others, whether we're doing a tournament. I always share her stories of other women and empowerment of fishing on our Facebook page. So she's really just really wants to help women get out there, which is, I think, an awesome. I don't know anybody else that does that, Wanda.
Well, we have a lot of women that really, they're different ages. At this point, I'm working with women from 40 on up to 71. Now, we have them a lot younger in different groups, different categories. We have someone who's never fished before, putting them on a boat, getting them set up with a workshop on how to rig up a line, what type of bait to use. And I have a seminar coming up in April. And I already have a bunch of ladies on board with that. There's a lady named Wendy Lou that's starting a redfish tournament, one of its kind, and it's going to be kicked off in Louisiana. And it's going to take the whole year to set it up, and it won't start until 2021. So I will be working with that group to get that set up and to promote it as well. But there's always something new out there that's coming up in the industry, that you can get a group of ladies together and get on a boat and go fishing. There's always our tournaments for breast cancer awareness and our veterans tournaments that we can get a group together, get boats together so we can go out there and help get these veterans on the boat. We can go out there and help with charity events, It's fishing. If you love to fish, you're going to be helping out these groups by showing up. Yeah, you might have to pay a fee, but you know what? We're giving back to these charities and to our veterans. And they really need that support. They really do. And it's just like a woman that's out there and she's a novice, doesn't really know what she's doing. She needs support. She needs someone to teach her. And even when they get to the pro status, they still need you. They still need people in their background that, back there, cheering them on. A lot of that's happening now. A lot of them come from being a novice to this year. They're pro. They're going to be doing the pro tournaments for the first time. Just a lot of support is what's needed. And I set up a website dedicated to the lady angler. And what I'm doing is setting it up as a membership for the ladies. They can sign up. They can put up their bio. They can post up any of their fishing pictures. They can post up any fishing pictures of their kids. And
Sweet.
I'm going to have a tutorial on how to do that through the system. I know a lot of them do not know how to navigate through a website, and I've learned that this year. When I send a link out to someone, it has a picture attached to it. And most people will look at it and they say, oh, that's a nice picture. They have no clue.
Click on
they tap on that picture where it's going to go. They don't know it's going to go to a video or to an organization or to another person because they don't know to do the simple thing of just clicking on that picture. So that's one of the biggest things I've learned in the past few months, that I have to actually teach that. And that's going to be taught in one of my little tutorials on the website. A lot of people just don't know it because they don't deal with computers like I do. And if I'm not out on the water, then I'm inside in my little home office and I'm building websites or tweaking a website or adding a plug-in to a website. So it's like second nature to me to deal with these websites. But in today's world, everything is visual. Everybody's visual. They want to be able to click and
That's
go.
true.
They want to look at that picture.
Yep.
They want to click on it, and they want to go. They want to have it. They don't have to go to the store and get it. They don't want, they want it right now. So that's what I teach everybody today, visibility. Keep yourself visible. Keep your product visible. Keep your business visible. Keep it out there, because if you don't, people will walk away or they'll go somewhere else.
That's true. That's quite true. Well, have you done any fishing this last week?
We fished Valentine's Day, and we caught a bunch of sheephead. It was beautiful. It was beautiful weather for 2 days. That third day last weekend got us. But we had 2 beautiful days of weather and caught a bunch of sheephead. And at first we thought, well, we were going to throw them back, but they were so big. And if you fillet them right and you can get some good meat, we actually made those crab patties off of them yesterday, and I had to put them up on my Facebook. And you can see the picture of it. Jerry, we got the ingredients, put it together, and Jerry made them. And they were very good. And that's something you can do. You can actually mix the patties together with the sheep head put your ingredients, some green onions, and throw it all together, and of course, put your seasoning in there, and then just make them like patties. You can freeze them, or you can go ahead and fry some up, and they're really very good.
Wow.
Have you ever had any,
No, not like that. Haven't tried it that way. Not at all. And it sounds delicious.
They're very good.
Wow.
Well, what's your favorite fish out there?
Mine is hard. It's hard for me to get nowadays, but it's a mahi-mahi is my most favorite.
Oh, well, you ought to put that out there on the radio. I'm sure somebody could get you some.
Oh yeah, and they're still running out here. It's been quite unusual this year, where they normally would kind of shy away. They're still hanging around. They're still out there. I would love to get my hands on some of that stuff, and then from that, I think it would be probably grouper. Would be my next, but mahi-mahi.
You and Carolyn need to get together and come down. We talked about it. We've been hit and miss for the past year or so of fishing together. But really, during the summer, we have these long, lazy days. Y'all need to come down and spend a couple of days and fish some light tackle. I see Carolyn out there chasing those billfish, swordfish.
Yeah.
And that's one of my bucket list fish. That's what I want to chase. But y'all come down and fish some light tackle, and let's do an article,
That'd be neat.
Based on that. We can do a show. We can actually do a show based on that.
Wow. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And Carolyn, about a month ago, Carolyn, right? You did a tournament?
Yeah, we did a tournament about a month ago. It was a sailfish tournament, but the only thing we caught was kingfish. It still got us to the weigh-in. Just couldn't get any sails to bite, but it was all very light tackle, Wanda. I think you saw some of the pictures. And that was a 30-pound kingfish. It took a little time to finesse into that boat, and 1 or 2 blisters later. But I told Wanda, come on down. We'll let her stay at our house and do a little mahi fishing. And Scala, I just grew back a nice 24-inch mahi last week. If I knew, I would have kept it for you.
Oh, well, thank you. God bless you.
See, there's two stonefish away, and you were wanting it. There's your co-host there.
Well, there's always another day. For me, fishing is kind of like the lottery. You may be targeting a particular species, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get that. You'll end up with who knows what. And there's lessons to be learned while you're fishing that can be taken and put into life. Some of the lessons I learned, it was rare for me, but it happened where we went fishing and we really didn't catch anything. It was disappointing. But it also told me, and my dad kind of explained to me, you're going to have times in your life when you're going to be looking for something, you're focusing on it, you think it's going to happen, and it doesn't. You're going to have to deal with that, just like you're dealing with this disappointment now in fishing. So it was always a life experience for me, as well as a quite enjoyable, very, very loving experience as well. But there's a relationship there between fishing and life itself, because you go fishing, like I said, it's like the lottery. You don't know what you're going to come up with. You may come up with something completely different than what you were looking for, far better, or you may come up with nothing. You don't know. And how you deal with that is going to be a lesson with how you deal with other things in life. We talk about, there were times when my family would go fish, the whole family would go fishing at least 3 times a month. And my dad would prepare the night before. And again, it was rare, but all that preparedness and all the driving, and we get to where we are and we go fishing and really not catch anything was a disappointment. But he also made sure to point out how that you can use that as a lesson in life. So reaching out to other people, helping other people fish, getting them to learn how to fish, and teaching them from A to Z. That's, again, I said earlier, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You can have all the money in the world. We don't know how much time we got. When we share our time with somebody else, especially in a learning experience and an educational experience and teaching somebody a skill. What's that old saying about teaching a man, feed a man for a day, or give him a fish and you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish? That's a whole different story. So there's a lot to be said about the fishing industry. For me, it was a wonderful experience because my mom, fortunately, she loved fishing. And I think that there are ladies out there that would like to do it, but for whatever reason, they're intimidated. And then they see people like Wanda, and they see people like Carolyn and Carol, and Betty Bowman here in town. They're out there helping other women to learn from A to Z. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, we all know how much we love fishing, and we want to pass that passion along to the other ladies and give them a chance to get that same emotional touch.
Yeah.
You know? It's really, it's very thrilling to get out there and fish with ladies and have such a great time. And there's always some little thing that happens. And when we were fishing the last tournament over in October, I had 2 on the boat, and they would reel in a speck, and then they said, "Oh, is it big enough? Is it big enough?" And it'd be barely 12, which was legal, but I'd make them throw it back.
Uh-huh.
And because I don't want the game warden coming up there and writing me a ticket. So anyway, we get back to the dock, and I went across the room to get cleaned up, and came back before they did the weigh-in, and I get a phone call from my significant other, Jerry, telling me that I needed to come back across the road because the wildlife and game was there, and they wanted to talk to me. They were in the box. And I'm thinking, she better not have put that undersized trout in that box after I told her to throw it back.
Yep.
And she really wanted to keep it. And I said, oh, and then he gets a ticket wrote up for that, and then, you know, that's going to be on his license. And I'm thinking, oh my, this could turn into a disaster. Well, I get back over there, and there's a wildlife lady, and my friends are standing around laughing at me. Well, they just pulled my leg is what happened. Like she was just there to do data. She didn't have anything to do with the weighing the fish.
Oh, Lord.
I was so mad because I was ready to say, hey, you know what? You do all you can to make sure that don't happen, but sometimes it does.
Oh, my gosh.
When you have newbies on the boat and they don't really know the size limit, it does happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you brought in an illegal fish, you know?
Jesus.
And then but we didn't have that happen. We caught a few fish. We didn't place with any of them that time, but we had a good time, and we didn't have any illegal fish on the boat.
Oh, good girl.
Yeah, believe me, I'm big on weighing the fish. You know.
Good for
if
you.
If it's closed, it goes back. It ain't worth the effort or ticket.
Wow. Well, you know what happens when we're having a good time? The time flies, and we are all out of time. But before we go, I want to give you an opportunity to, if people want to get more information about Wanda and what Wanda does, get that information out there, and then we'll let Carolyn say goodbye to you after that, and then we'll go to a break. So thank you, Wanda.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on. Like I said, I have 2 websites. One of them is rodandreelgirls.com, which you can Google, and then the other one is rodandreel.com, which you can also Google and find my name. All of my information is on there, but it's rodandreelgirls.com website, and I have several Facebook pages, several social media pages. I got thousands of followers that follow these pages, and we basically promote products through that and my websites and all of the events. And if anybody has an event that they want me to promote, I would be glad to put it inside of my website and promote it for them, and then spread it out through social media. And I'm going to be promoting the Florida Fish Show too, Rascala.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And also I will be promoting Carolyn as well in her business.
Great. All right, Carolyn.
Wanda,
go ahead.
As always, looking forward to talking to you again. And I think Wanda and I are going to meet up at the ICAST show in July, and I think Wanda wants me to fish on her bass fishing tournament team. So I'm in. Count me in.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Listening to the Fishing in Florida show.
We'll put you on
Your
a boat.
host, Scala Stevens.
Okay.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise!
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, they're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning to you. If you're just joining us, we will have an archive set up. We'll have an archive set up, I promise. On the Facebook page, you can go to Facebook, Fishing in Florida Show, and click on the archive. It'll give you a link to our YouTube channel. That's really where it's at. But difficult to find us on the YouTube search engine. But if you'll just go to Fishing in Florida on Facebook, and you'll find a link there. This morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax with me. If you want to protect what you love to the max, got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back, Carolyn.
Hey, Riscala. Thanks for having me today.
And, we haven't talked a whole lot about fishing today, but we've talked about something that's very important that is fishing related in a way, and that is the ability to get involved with people so that you can go fishing, enjoy fishing, but while you're doing that, you're actually helping other people. So you're enjoying it, other people are enjoying it, everybody's benefiting from it. That's the kind of thing that I truly enjoy to promote. And the next person who's coming on does that kind of thing. His name's Sean Miller, and we're going to welcome him. Welcome, Sean, to the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, you two. How's everything today?
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hi, Sean. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's always a pleasure when I have the opportunity to pick your guys' brains and see what's happening out there.
Have you done any fishing this last week, my friend?
Believe it or not, we were wanted to get out there, but I only have a 28-foot contender, and it's just not feasible for me. It's not that fun when you're holding on for life.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And try to fish at the same time.
Yeah. So maybe some backwater fishing or intercoastal fishing or somewhere in there, you can get away from some of that for a little while. Have you, while I'm thinking about it, have you done any intercoastal fishing in the area?
No, I have not. And, I have a few friends, that actually get into like the inshore fishing. But I've just never had the opportunity to get out there and do some light tackle. And I know there's a lot of snook up in our canals, and they give a great bite, especially with the tarpon.
Oh, yeah.
And I just not have had that opportunity. Need to find more time.
So most of what you do is offshore then?
That's correct.
And when you're, like right now, I know it's sailfish season. When you're doing offshore, are you targeting anything specifically, or are you just going out for whatever you can find?
Normally, it with all the time, believe it or not, for this season, we have 22 tournaments for my team. So finding that spare time to actually get out and do some fun fishing is very hard to find. But when we do, we specifically target something. If we're going to go out looking for blackfins, we go for blackfins.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going for dolphin, we go offshore. Most of the tournaments we do are kingfish related tournaments. So, the wife already is kind of filled up with a lot of kingfish in our freezer and fridges, so she wants me to start doing other stuff here.
I didn't realize
there's so much you can do with kings.
I didn't realize you had 22 of them. Wow, that's a plate load there.
It is.
So what is the next? Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, when's the next one, Sean? That's coming up this week.
She's reading my mind.
Yes, on Saturday. We're praying to the weather gods, the sea gods, that we got some good weather next week. It looks pretty good, but we have our kingfish tournament. I see you had Trey on earlier. It's our biggest kingfish tournament of the year for our club and for the foundation as well. Southern Kingfish Association came on his board is sanctioning this tournament as well, as Angler Armory Fishing Club as well. So we have two big fishing clubs that came on to help support us, and the kingfish industry. Bringing in the heaviest king is the key to this tournament, and that's going down next Saturday.
Now, this tournament's they have a benefit. Is that right?
Yes, we actually through our foundation, we're actually raising for this specific tournament. We're raising money to take kids out fishing. And now this is disadvantaged children that this program that we do. So it's we're working with one of the commissioners over the Lauderdale by the Sea. Brought up this great organization called the Broward Children's Center over here in Pompano. And then we're also dealing with the Covenant House down in Fort Lauderdale, and then the foster kids from Davie all the way up. And our goal is to start bringing these kids that are disadvantaged and that it's very hard for them to get a rod and reel, to even get on the water, and bringing them out onto a drift boat and spend 4 hours. We bring them onto the marina. We teach them how to tie knots, watch how the rods and reels are used. Prepare them to get on the water. Then we feed them out on the water, drinks, food, burgers, hot dogs. We put the rods and reels, then our members, as well as the mates of the boat and the captain, get them tight on fish and watch their eyes, explode with feeling what it feels like to have another have a fish online, and then get it into the boat. And then we bring the fish back. We fillet them, and then say the foster kids, we'll fillet all the fish and we'll bring it back to each foster person's home, to that kid's home, and then they'll feed their entire family.
Wow.
It's great seeing these kids' eyes light up.
Awesome. You probably don't know, but I was a foster parent for many years here in Florida. And through that, went through the adoption process. So I'm also an adoptive parent as well. So what you're talking about is really heartstrings for me. That's phenomenal. When we can teach them young, it's a lot easier to deal with them as adults than as they grow up, and to learn the responsibilities and some of these things that are not taught today. Skills are not passed down. And that's something that I believe people are recognizing and bringing back. That passing things on to other generations, things of value, things of honor and integrity, passing them on, because I think we almost missed a generation, maybe even two generations in there, where that hasn't been happening. They've talked about bringing the common core skills back. Home ec, I think, is what it used to be called, and shop. We didn't have those things. When we have people like this that we're talking about, who are bringing the kids in at a young age, and some of those foster kids really are very disadvantaged. They've been put through the ringer. It really is heart-wrenching to see some of those stories. And you take them away from the environment for a little while. It's like changing their whole world, giving them an inspiration, a breath of fresh air, if you will, literally and literally a breath of fresh air. It's inspirational, and that's great. So if people want to get involved with this, how do we do that?
We have the links up on our website on Offshore Anglers of PompanoBeach.org, as well as the foundation, OAPBFF.org as well. And you can access the link. It has all the rules and regulations, everything that we're doing. This tournament is by far one of my favorite tournaments of the year. We bring together some awesome anglers, some captains, and the community. And like I said, this is all the tournaments that we put on all year, we actually ice down all of the fish. And then we bring them over to the Broward Outreach Center for all that fish to be filleted and prepared for our homeless out of Pompano. And, you know, like I said, this is one of my favorite tournaments. You know, we just to go back to, you know, like the foster kids and, you know, you bringing back your heartstrings on how you used to be part of that program as well. You know, we took out one of these kids just through one of our members, Mike Leach, you know, part of the Ladies Fish Off. And he put me in contact with this child that was he's about 13 years old. He's been bounced around between, I would say, like 6 or 8 different families.
Yeah.
But man, he loves to fish, and he only does like inshore or, you know, like freshwater fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And they could not get through to him because he just shuts down because he has no one to connect with.
Yep.
We took him out fishing, you know, with the Nearly Impossible fishing team and the Sea Legs Marina down in Fort Lauderdale. Spent the day with us all day fishing. We put him on some big fish, so some big amberjacks.
Wow.
His arms were like noodles. And we're talking how much he laughed, how much he opened up about his life, and he talked about things. I talked to Mike Leach. He's like, Sean is like, no one's been able to get through to him. And now he's doing so much better.
Awesome.
Just having that outlet that he can talk to people and connect with is what it's all about to me. And that's why this tournament and what we're raising these funds for to bring these kids out is what really matters. Because just like you know, I can remember back in the day when I was younger, you know, I went through the foster system for a little while. And I think that's why this program really means a lot to me. Man, I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed here. You've been thinking about it.
Yeah, mine are leaking. Mine are leaking as well.
Yeah, right, exactly. We love to get everyone out. You know, we have it's fully catered on our captain's meeting, so we'll have great food from Flanagan's coming up. Then Sands Harbor, you know, it'll be going on over there. Big Dog Tackle, Trey West, he was on the show. He's our headliner sponsor for our tournament. And they provide all the prizes that we do, and you know, to help us raise the funds we do for the programs we do. So thank you guys for having me on to be able to talk about this tournament.
Sean, it's www.offshoreanglerspompanobeach.org. That's one of them. Now the other one you said kind of quick and I couldn't catch it. OAPP something?
Yeah. That's www.oapbff.org, and that stands for Offshore Anglers Pompano Beach Fishing Foundation.
Great. So there's 2 ways you can help get involved, and one of them is www.offshoreanglerspompanobeach.org. Make sure I say that slow so people catch it. Offshoreanglerspompanobeach.org, or www.oapbff.org. P like Paul, B like boy, F like fox, F like fox, OAPBFF.org. You can catch either one of those. You can do your part and help this world become a better place. That's really what it's about for me, is trying to make something happen that benefits everybody. And this truly benefits everybody. It may not benefit you personally per se, but it benefits everybody in the sense that especially when we're talking about these kids, it's a lot easier to deal with them as adults who have been taught some responsibility and given some inspiration. It's a lot easier to deal with them then versus having a broken child that grows into a broken adult, and then we have all kinds of problems. So this is truly something that is inspiring for anyone to get involved with. And if you can, please do it. It would be great for everybody. Carolyn, I'll give you an opportunity to say goodbye. Sean, I'll give you an opportunity to say goodbye, and then we'll go to a break.
Absolutely, Sean. Great having you on. And if anybody wants to get out and see what a weigh-in's like, it's at the Sands on Saturday, and it's totally free to walk over and see what other fishermen are experiencing. And it's family-friendly.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. And yes, come on out. Like I said, there's going to be some really big kingfish brought to the scales, and some great teams, some great food. We'd love to have everyone over there and see them, bring a great crowd, and help us promote what this organization is all about.
All right, my friend. God bless.
All right,
you're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclubb.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Ooh.
Right.
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. Good morning to you. If you're just joining us, we will have an archive set up, and you can find that archive on our Facebook page. Go to Facebook, find Fishing in Florida, click on the link, and it will take you. Actually, it's a YouTube channel, but it's easier to find us through Facebook. So we will have an archive set up probably before the end of the day. So anything that you've missed, you can follow up on. This morning, I have Carolyn Stash with me. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax, and my favorite thing about Atlas Trax is you can put one of these little contraptions in your pocket. It's so small, and you can literally be found anywhere on the planet within 10 feet. An amazing piece of technology that gives you a tremendous amount of data that can be used in a variety of ways. But most importantly of all, safety. Your safety. And Carolyn does that. Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you for joining me, and welcome back, my dear.
Absolutely, Rascala. This has been a great show today.
Yeah, we've had haven't talked a whole lot about fishing per se and what's being caught like we normally do, but that's okay. We've talked about something that's quite important to me, and that is the ability to help other people, getting involved, going fishing, enjoying the fishing, but while you're doing that, you're helping other people. That's pretty awesome to me. Going to bring on our next guest, who is Trista Evans. Trista, I believe, is with Hooker Electric. Welcome, Trista, to the Fishing in Florida show.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me this morning.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Good morning, Trista. Glad you could make it fill in a spot for us, and would love to hear all about Hooker Electric and what you're doing locally in the area.
Awesome. Thanks again for having me. So we are based out of Fort Lauderdale, local company, organically grown. So what we do, we actually manufacture electric fishing reels amongst other products, gaffs, harpoons, everything in the industry. And then we wholesale it to the local retailers, all the local tackle shops. So we try to support as many tackle shops as possible. So that's pretty much what we do over at Hooker Electric. And then we're involved a lot with, I heard Trey on the air earlier with Big Dog Tackle, and we did a lot of the Bahamas relief effort with them as well, which was very rewarding, to say the least. We had, and we're continuing every weekend. We're still flying over to the Abacos and setting up containers and getting building supplies. We got a couple privately funded projects. One was from Papa's Pilar. They gave us, some cash basically to get set up containers to help build these people's homes, to get the community back together so our fishing community can go back to the Abacos and enjoy, the fishery.
So there may be some people who are listening who don't know really what's happening. Describe what happened there.
So what happened, obviously, when the Hurricane Doreen hit, it sat over Abacos for 40 hours and pretty much destroyed most of the Abacos. Therefore, the fishery has not been able to get up to par because we haven't been able to visit. So what we did for the relief efforts, we got together with City of Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, and we actually took over one of the hangars at the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, and we routed private donated airplanes, donated pilots, donated supplies. Everything was completely 100% donated, and sent all these supplies back and forth to the Abacos for about 10 days straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Was saying earlier, we haven't talked a whole lot about fishing this morning, but what we've talked about, I think, is, almost important in my life as the fishing itself, and that's the learning about other people out there who are helping other people. I've said it several times this morning, and I'm so grateful. Carolyn, thank you for, Carolyn is who is responsible for 3 or 4 of these people this morning that are on the show. Thank you, Carolyn. This is really an uplifting thing for me because I'm recognizing that there's more and more that is within the community, the fishing community, that is reaching out far more than I thought. And again, this is another individual who's doing that. For those of you, like Trista was saying, those of you who may not be aware, a hurricane was literally like a giant lawnmower, almost, to describe it, over the island, just destroyed everything. And here we are reaching out to them and helping them and helping them rebuild. Of course, we're going to benefit from that. Again, it's a benefit thing. It was where everybody benefits. It's the kind of things that I love to be involved in. They're going to benefit. We're going to benefit. We're going to benefit by having their fisheries back and being able to go and enjoy that. They're going to benefit by having their homes back. So everybody wins, and that's a beautiful thing. You get involved with a small company, and these are the benefits that we have. I got to say, though, Hooker Electric threw me off. I thought when Carolyn told me about Hooker Electric, I said they're running an electric company. What has that got to do with fishing?
Yeah, there's always some confusion there. It's pretty humorous because we do get some calls for that a lot.
So you need to add one more to it, and that's Hooker Electric Reels, and make it REAL for real people,
That's awesome. Appreciate that.
Well, I have to tell you, Riscala, I mean, I know we don't have very many fishing reports today, but that's because of the 10-foot seas out there.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I'll tell you, what we do when we lay up our boats and cover them up is exactly what Trista's doing. We hunker down, we go see, okay, what's next? What's the next? Do we have food in the hangar? Who's the next person going? And there was a relief flight. Sean's is it Brett Miller went over yesterday to do a relief flight over to the Abacos, and your listeners that don't know, winds on the Hurricane Dorian were up to 183 miles an hour, which is tornado strength for 40 hours. It ripped everything down to the ground. So it's amazing. Yeah, we don't have fishing reports, but we got some pretty inspirational stories today.
Amen. Some awesome reports on that easily take the place of it. So yeah, we didn't not a lot about fishing today per se. But a lot about what fishing can do, and that is enjoy. There's a tranquility for me that I enjoy when I go fishing. It's just something it's just for me. I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but there's a feeling that you get. It's difficult to put into words. For me, it's a feeling of relaxation, a feeling of enjoyment, a humbleness, if you will. I've been out on the ocean 20 miles offshore, and it's like a lake, and it's quiet. Oh, my gosh. You turn the engine off, and you're just floating. It is phenomenal. It's an unbelievable feeling, and it is humbling in the sense that you realize you're just a speck in all of this. And you're not as great as your ego thinks you are. You're just a speck. And you learn I learned to love the environment and enjoy the environment and enjoy what God has given us. We've got it 3 sides of the state. It's all over the place. So if you don't enjoy the water, I can tell people, you don't enjoy the water, you're in the wrong place. Now here's a way you can enjoy the water, you can enjoy the fishing, and in all of that, you're giving back as well. Those are the kind of things that are awesome for me and the kind of things that I enjoy promoting because, again, everybody wins, and I'm kind of selfish. I'm part of everybody.
Yeah, we all enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
And what's so nice about Trista and Hooker Electric is they also participate and donate products for local tournaments as well. And the ladies' Lighthouse Point Fish Off is 35 years this June. And I know they always donate their time and product to helping out and raise money also for that charity that I'm on the committee and been for a while. So thank you, Trista, for doing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, unfortunately, I haven't been able to go out fishing the last couple of weeks due to, we had the Miami Boat Show. We got another show coming up. But I did get some fishing reports from some of my pro staffers all the way down from Key West up to Stewart. If you guys want to, I can fill you in on that.
Yep.
I know in Key West, before the cold front came in, there was a ton of blackfin and king mackerel. One of my guys even caught a 300-pound blue marlin.
Oh my God!
Amazing. Yeah. Grouper season's closed down there, so obviously they're going to stay off the reef. But it's still some good fishing for sure. In Miami, there's been decent fishing. Scattered sailfish, quite a few kings on the edge. They're saying about 90 to 120 feet. Mahis and blackfins are mixed in with that as well. And the Operation Sailfish tournament's going on this weekend. That was yesterday. It was postponed till today for day 2. And they actually, one of the teams, I believe, was leading with only 4 sailfish. So It's been kind of scaresome for the sailfish as well. So we'll see how that turns out after today. I'm pretty excited to see who ends up winning that. Locally, Lauderdale, Lighthouse Point, kingfisher still sitting on the edge, 90 to 140 feet, and then sailfish throughout. Our daytime sword fishery, which that's our main our main base for our business, it's been really, really, really strong. It's just the weather window has kept people not out there. You got to get 20 miles off to get those swordfish. So we're still waiting on that opening to open up so the guys can get back out there. Now, I also know up in Palm Beach, everybody's still fishing sailfish. There's tons of action in 80 to 180 feet, again, alongside like tuna and mahi. And some of the guys have been catching wahoo still up, early in the mornings right out of the St. Lucie Inlet, which is pretty cool. And then I know that cobia fishing has been excellent out of Stewart. One of my pro staffers up there, he said he's just been killing them on the jigs and live bait. So that's pretty neat that they're getting big and rich up there. So it's good.
Well, today is not going to be a happy day for the small guys.
Not at all.
I think we're still at around 7 to 9 swells today, 7 to 9 foot swells. So it's not going to be a happy day for the small guys. The bigger guys, they can handle that a lot easier than the smaller guys can. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and enjoy it. There's a lot of other things that we can do, enjoy the environment that we have. Robert normally on Sunday mornings, one of his favorite things to do is instead of going fishing, he goes out to the park and goes bicycling. We have some beautiful parks around here. Go bicycling. Just get out there and enjoy it, really, is what it boils down to for me. My go-to is fishing. Whenever possible, I go fishing. I get that special feeling when I'm out there, and it's kind of like the lottery. You don't know what you're going to get. You can focus on something. You can, target a specific species, but there's no guarantees. And so it's always enjoyable. It's enjoyable to hear about people like Trista, a small, and it is a family-owned company, Trista?
Yeah, all organic. We started it about 9 years ago.
So, again, a small family, locally owned business. This is what happens when you're dealing with locally owned, family-owned businesses. They're giving back. They recognize the importance and the joy of giving back. There's a degree of fulfillment by doing that. There's a degree of satisfaction that you get by doing that. And it's not something that you can put a price on. So knowing that you are part of that, you're going to get a degree of satisfaction. You're going to get a return on your investment, if you will, by dealing with people like that. An honor to meet you, my dear. I've met some really, really neat people this morning, and I had no idea that all this was going on, and I'm glad that Carolyn suggested that we have them on. Didn't do a whole lot of fish talk this morning. I think Trista did more than everybody put together. Thank you, Trista. Great report. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. We have a lot of our pro staff, or our hooker pro staff. They've been, fishing day in and day out. These are these charter captains that, they work no matter what. So I definitely shout out to all of them.
Wow. Well, this is what happens when we're having a good time. We're out of time, but before we go, Trista, I want to give you an opportunity to give out any information that you would like regarding the things that you support, and then I'll let Carolyn say goodbye, and we're going to sign off. So off to you, Trista.
All right. Thank you so much again. If anyone has any questions, you can reach out to us on our Instagram, our Facebook. Our website is hookerelectric.com. We also have a local toll-free number, 1-855-HOOK1. You can always reach out and find out what our new products we're going to be releasing here at all these new shows coming up as well.
Cool. All right, Carolyn.
Trista, I'm sure I'll see you this weekend at the tournament. Thanks for calling in today. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
All right, Trista, Carolyn, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who joined us in this morning and helped contribute to the show. A great big thank you to the different stations that carry us. We will be back in a week. God bless.